And welcome back, dear viewer, to RJ.B's Starcraft Cast's YouTube channel, where today I've got some heavy, hard-hitting action for you, or at least so I hope, because of course I have not seen these replays. I'm going in completely blind and praying to the Starcraft gods that this match is going to be exciting and is going to meet all our needs of daily Starcraft fastest map 1 versus 1 action. Of course, I'm bringing you more HamburgerSasu because HamburgerSasu has proven to be one of the most exciting players to watch and commentate and cast and observe and whatever you want to call it. We might even start a cult where we start worshipping HamburgerSasu's prowess and his skill on fastest map, so that he can go down in the history books as one of the greatest fastest map 1 versus 1 players of all time. Whether he is or isn't or will remain to be so, we don't know, because the future holds many things in store that we cannot predict or foresee. But he's already starting out really interesting, because this means he's going for a Dragoon build, one with a pylon and the simulator right from the start. His opponent here, though, who I have not yet talked about at all, is a player called Surgeon. And that is, of course, not his usual gamer tag, but I don't know who it is. It could be the player Kimki-san, it could be someone else entirely. I don't know. I just know that, well, I don't know. I mean, I am assuming that these matches are going to be exciting to watch. Both players already starting off with what seems to be a little bit of a mismatch in favor of HamburgerSasu, because Surgeon is going for the +1 command center, followed up by barracks, and that is going to put him behind by quite a bit against this specific build that HamburgerSasu is doing right here, because HamburgerSasu is going for Dragoons. Cybernetic score is coming out right here, right now. By the time the cybernetic score finishes, you'll have about 250. Well, yeah, maybe 300 gas. Just enough for 3 Dragoons and Singularity Charge all at the same time. Yeah, I think 270, 280. He'll be about 300 almost. So both players are somehow scouting the exact right and correct spot. That's what I wanted to say, but Surgeon is going to the left here, and HamburgerSasu is going to the north, to spot number 12, so actually I'm wrong. He was heading this way, but then he changed his mind. Same for Surgeon, he changed his mind in the last second, and went the other way around. First Marines have spawned for Surgeon. Gas is on the way, he's got an academy on the way as well. Doesn't need a depot yet, because of course the command center gives him that 10 supply. But he's gonna need to start a supply depot very soon, because he's gonna get supply stuck at this rate. At 28, and he doesn't want that. No, he does not. Bunker there in the front. Looks like Surgeon has found his opponent, his nemesis, and he saw the Singularity Charge, he saw the 3 gateways, and it can only mean one single thing. And the one single thing is Dragoons with a range, planning to be hammering your front door down. It's like a battering ram, although it is kind of a delayed gratification battering ram, because first he's going to have to put those Dragoons here just outside of the range and start hammering away on him. And he still somehow hasn't found him. He's scouting every single spot but the one spot that Surgeon is on, and that is very beneficial for Surgeon, because Surgeon can now get that frontal defense up. He can get that marine range queued up. He can get that factory all up and running on production and construction. And he'll most likely have his factory finished by the time that HamburgerSasu's Dragoons are hammering away on those bunkers, which means that he can have siege mode and a tank up right here in the back outside of Dragoon range. Dragoons' range. I'm not sure how you pronounce that. The Dragoons range or the Dragoons' range? Oh man, English can be so hard sometimes. It's probably Dragoon's range, outside of the Dragoon's range. So you put the Dragoons here, tank there in the back side of the Dragoon's range. Even if the Dragoons walk up into right in front of the bunkers, you could call it melee range, they wouldn't be able to hit the tank there in the back. So it all comes down to whether he'll be in time. So he made a couple of zealots as well, because he's planning on mixing it up and going for Dark Templars. So this is a huge, weird ass mix-up that I have not yet seen before. He goes for Dragoon range and Dragoons first, and it follows up with a Citadel of Doom. Pretty much the same time he starts that Singularity charge, and follows it up with Dark Templars with a Templar Archive. And +2 Nexus. This is the single most unique build I have thus far seen from any player whatsoever so far in all of the replays I've watched. This is very, very far out of the ordinary, but I can completely understand what he's doing. He's trying to get some pressure down on Surgeon, but Surgeon seems to be well prepared because he's got that frontal choke all finished up. He's got siege mode on the way, and the siege tank is almost finished up as well. Stim upgrade on the way as well there. He's already preparing his sides with turrets against drops. Drops, though, not yet on the way for HamburgerSasu. All he's got is that frontal harass. But the turret there is going to deny those Dark Templars. Marine range also denying the Dragoons. Zealots, of course, pretty much have no role in this whatsoever. Tanker in the back denies the Dragoons as well. Which means that he's now going to go for the Dark Archon, because he realizes he has no use for that Dark Templar, or for those Dark Templars. Moving pylons there on the side as a defensive measure against tank drops, because this way he can see dropships leaving the base of Surgeon, which I assume he's expecting. He's expecting dropships, and honestly, it's not that weird to be expecting dropships amongst Koreans, because Koreans love to go for tank drops on your minerals. So here in HamburgerSasu's base, not much has progressed. Units are still aligned all over the map. He knows that Surgeon is most likely not going to move out, given that he walled off his front. And Surgeon likewise knows that HamburgerSasu put himself in a position where it's going to take longer for him to start landing blows and start shooting at Surgeon to break through his defenses and maybe get a shot off on his minerals. But that might all take a while. Surgeon adds on 2 more barracks, more factors as well. There is a dropship for the tank drop. Maybe he's going for a fire bat drop, I'm not sure. Defensive Dragoons have been put on the sides here for HamburgerSasu. He's going to build more pylons here on the top spot as well with that probe. He's going to set himself up for a defensive playstyle up until the point he can start hitting drops. At least that's what I wanted to say. But he's going for the mind control. He's got a single robotics. He's got shuttle speed and zealot lags on the way. Let's see what he's planning on doing. Templars on the way as well. He does not have Storm upgrade. Or maybe he does. Maybe he upgraded while I wasn't paying enough attention. There come Dark Templars. He's going to try to unload them. He loads them on the low ground, but he has scan energy. He can take down the Dark Templar. Dark Templar is running towards the SCVs. And I think Surgeon expected it to be dead, but he spots it right there, right now. Sees the Dark Templar running around the base, and HamburgerSasu kind of knows that it's kind of a futile point here. He scans it, Dark Templar is still running away, but it gets shot at by the tank, and it dies eventually. Tank flying out here for Surgeon. Let's see what HamburgerSasu's got as a defense. Single cannon, 3 Dragoons there, 5 Dragoons on the other side. The reaction time, though, is very, very slim. So HamburgerSasu might not be capable of responding in time to that tank drop, but it all depends on the path that Surgeon is going to take. Surgeon has diligently been throwing out scans, so he somewhat knows the layout of HamburgerSasu's base. Always very important to know beforehand. And HamburgerSasu just so happens to move his tanks away at the right exact time, which is pure chance, pure luck. In Surgeon's favor here, that's going to hurt HamburgerSasu quite significantly. HamburgerSasu already lost quite a bit of probes there. I think he lost about 11 or so, maybe a little bit less. But he pulls back his units just in time to repel that tank drop. Tank drop sadly goes down. Tanks did some work. A lot of lost mining time there for HamburgerSasu, and losing about 7, 8, maybe 10 of his probes, which is quite a big hit. Considering the stage of the game where Surgeon has now propelled beyond HamburgerSasu's worker count, which is something that's always in favor of the Terran. Simply because he started off with a +1 command center that's now showing its results, because his base is way bigger than it would have been if he had gone for the late command center instead of starting with the command center itself. 2 armories, got all of his upgrades on the way. HamburgerSasu only having a single forge is only going for a single weapon upgrade. He hasn't used the Dark Templar, the Dark Archon yet. There it is. It's got that manager for mind control. There's an SCV there in the front. He can try to go and snipe it, but then it will get taken down by these siege tanks immediately. But he might be capable of doing it. He might be capable of taking that SCV in for the mind control. Also, just to note, there's been no action at the moment. Or until now, there's been no action. It's pretty much just both players building up. And HamburgerSasu cursing himself for going for that very, very bad early scout, which completely ruined his prospects of trying to hammer or break through that front door that Surgeon put up here all so nicely. Looks like he got himself stuck, so he's taking down a citadel of the Dune to create a little hole there for the Templar to walk through. Same for the High Templar. Raids trying to hunt for the shuttle, but HamburgerSasu sends it away preemptively. Of course, Surgeon does not know what's inside of the shuttle, but he had a feeling that, hey, there's units here in the front, I might as well try to take down that shuttle. He's got the cloak upgrade on the way now, because he knows he cannot fight above those dragoons without cloak, but cannons are already being thrown down, so instead he tries to clear out the side division that HamburgerSasu provided himself with. And there comes the first frontal attack by HamburgerSasu. He lands Templars there on the low ground, tries to storm, but the storms get dodged somewhat. But a couple of those tanks in the back do go down. Marine's going down there as well. HamburgerSasu isn't really managing to break through. He took down a single bunker, but is losing most of his units. He's trying to get that mind control. He picks up the SCV, but SCV gets... This shuttle gets taken down, and SCV gets taken down as well. Operation Mind Control here has failed for HamburgerSasu, and the frontal attack has failed as well. But Surgeon is not yet in a position where he can go for the counterattack, so he's just going to have to lick his very minor... Lick his scratches. These are basically scratches on the surface. The Surgeon holds that run really easily. Raids now moving out, hunting for more things to kill, specifically those pylons there on the side. His gas is at the moment quite low, so he starts adding on more refineries, starts adding command center there on the bottom as well, so he can fill out these refineries at maximum capacity. And yeah, slowly adding on to his base. And as you might have noticed, the clock is seriously ticking for HamburgerSasu, who is honestly having one of his weaker showings here, where he has not been capable of even hurting Surgeon in the slightest within 12.5 minutes. But we've seen this happen somewhat before, while HamburgerSasu then somehow managed to flip the game on its head and deal significant amounts of damage in only a 5-minute span, where he was spamming out attacks so rapidly that his opponent could not keep up. But is Surgeon one of those players he can do it against? High Templar gets taken down, the frontal wall gets broken through as well, but there's so many units here in the backside, behind the wall, that got taken down, and HamburgerSasu is not yet capable of breaking through any further. Also, there's an SCV there, which is going to construct a new wall. HamburgerSasu, though, has a very, very good macro. He's got units in every single gateway, and he's only making one per gateway at a time, which also shows his great macro ability. Because by the time this all finishes up, he's gonna immediately queue up new ones, which is honestly a great sign of his macro. Look at that. Single one in each. Upgrades there on the way as well. Shield and armor weapon upgrade just finished up, so he hasn't queued that new one up yet. He's already on 2 weapon upgrade for his ground forces, level 1 weapon upgrade for the Marines, for Surgeon, but his tank's already on 1-1. His air is also on the way, so he's got every single upgrade on the way there. He's got a pretty nice base, and he's loading up massive amount of dropships because he's planning on going for an attack here on the workers or maybe on the Nexus. On HamburgerSasu, there's a huge portion he can drop here because it's only a single cannon. Maybe these 2 cannons are covering this portion as well. More importantly though, frontal attack happening here from HamburgerSasu, trying to break through the front once again. But these beautiful barracks there in the front are making it very tough for HamburgerSasu to get through, and everything that does get through gets slimmed down and taken down by his tanks and Marines there in the back. Bunker, of course, contributing, although it's empty. He does manage to clear out quite a bit though there behind the lines, behind that wall line, so I'm quite impressed by that one. But these tanks here up on the high ground are making frontal sieging impossible for HamburgerSasu. HamburgerSasu has to start mixing his approach up. He has to start adding in shuttles if he wants to have some real success, which he isn't doing. He's not adding shuttles into the mix. I'm not too sure what his plan is, because nothing so far has worked, and he honestly hasn't set himself up for anything that can work. Aside from just frontal attacking, his storms have been very good though, and he's been very good at targeting buildings with every single unit he's sending out. But Surgeon has bigger plans than HamburgerSasu's plans are, and that's a lot of tanks, a lot of Goliaths. He scanned the entire base of HamburgerSasu, so he knows the exact layout, and he's gonna drop here on the side, up on the hill and up on the low ground. Or he's gonna fly in. Oh, he's gonna drop on the low ground right next to those three cannons there. Those three cannons go down very, very quickly. Tanks in the back also gonna be the focus of his siege tanks. HamburgerSasu is at the same time attacking here in the front, but it looks like this gigantic wall has just been put up with two command centers. There's a small little space he can walk through, but it's gonna be very, very hard for him to even deal some real damage there, because there's a lot of tanks that are in the back, and the Dragoons are having a tough time breaking through. He's going for the mind control, but there's no SVs there to mind control or to pick up. He tries to go for it, but the SV immediately goes down. Quick reaction there from Surgeon. Now Surgeon is going to move forward closer to those probes. Is this going to be it? Is this going to be the match for HamburgerSasu? HamburgerSasu is going to yield here. Tanks have sieged up, kills pretty much all of the probes there. Went down from 73 down to 23. Absolutely disastrous hit. Now the raids are coming in as well, because there's no detection here in this little portion aside for that cannon. He's trying to take down the cannon. Cannon goes down. Now he's got free fire on this. The free fire on the Nexus actually, because these cannons here on the side are not in range, although the raids are hovering themselves a little bit closer into range, so he's flying outside of the range and re-entering. And he's gonna take down the Nexus. This is not how I expected this game to go. I expect HamburgerSasu to put up a way better fight, but it looks like he completely fumbled the game. About as hard as you can fumble a game, he fumbled it really, really hard. And Surgeon just goes for really, really good offensive options there. It really used and exploited all the weaknesses HamburgerSasu had, while maintaining a very strong frontal defense. Which I'll also have to admit, a very strong frontal defense is not that hard to pull off. As a Protoss, you honestly really have to look for alternative methods other than just running it down through the front. Because running it down through the front is very often not going to cut it. It's not going to cut it against a player who knows how to build a great wall, control his units well enough, and produce units really, really quickly, even though his factory count is not all that high. He's got 11 factories, which is quite low, but seemingly enough, given that he plays defensive enough and doesn't lose most of his tanks. Yeah, that's game number 1. Not as exciting as I'd hoped. I hope game number 2 is going to be more exciting, so let's move for game number 2. So I hope that for game number 2, HamburgerSasu gets to redeem himself a little bit. The matchup is the same. It's Protoss versus Terran, with HamburgerSasu again on the Protoss. The red Protoss here on the bottom middle of the map, up against Surgeon, who is here playing and piloting the blue Terran on the middle left of the map. Last time around, Surgeon showed a pretty solid Terran. He had great defensive ability. He knew how to prepare for every single option that HamburgerSasu threw at him. Although, of course, I have to admit, HamburgerSasu's options that he used and chose were rather limited, and honestly not sure if they could ever have worked against a player of the level of Surgeon. As I mentioned before, you have to mix things up. You gotta get shuttles, maybe reavers, maybe carriers. You gotta do different things, and if you do what HamburgerSasu did, you simply give the opponent too much time to settle up, build a base, and be comfortable. Because the risks that they're exposed to can at that point be rather easily managed. And the Protoss is fighting an uphill battle because the Protoss has to break in, control the map, keep the Terran contained. If you cannot keep the Terran contained, you're in for a rather bad time. HamburgerSasu this time around seems to have listened to my advice, or have thought the same, because this game is honestly really old. These replays are from 2019 April or in May. They're rather old. Might even be older than that, I'm not sure. I will have to check again for the next replay in this series. Anyway, HamburgerSasu starts off with 2 gateways. A very solid start. Honestly, a very solid start. This is a very solid strategy he's doing. Although he did make Zealots before he made the Nexus, so the Nexus is going to be a little bit delayed, which also means his tech is going to be a little bit delayed, because he will have less workers out than if he had made the Nexus before the 2 Zealots. So yeah, Marine has, Surgeon has scouted HamburgerSasu, and HamburgerSasu has likewise scouted Surgeon's location. He sees that there's no +1 command center, unlike last game, which means that Surgeon is believing, or assuming, or was assuming, HamburgerSasu wouldn't make the same mistake twice as he made last game. So he didn't start off with the +1 command center. HamburgerSasu here though, blocking access to the refinery. Well, that's what I thought, because he looks like he can still get in. But it's still very annoying to have that pylon there, because it slows his gas down by quite a bit. He's hunting for SCVs with that great Zealot control. Surgeon, I think, has pretty amazing Marine micro. I'm not sure, haven't really seen it yet, but I'm assuming his Marine micro is really good. I hope I'm not wrong. So yeah, so the very standard 2 gateway Zealot harass that mostly relies on really good Zealot micro is being applied here by HamburgerSasu on Surgeon. Surgeon made a second gas. He hasn't killed the pylon yet because he wants to focus on keeping those Zealots away, but while he's attacking those Zealots, they're on the top side. Zealots are coming in from the bottom side. They're going in for the flank, but Surgeon very wisely pulls his SCVs off and protects his Marines. The Zealots have now taken so much damage that the Marines can honestly just push them back. HamburgerSasu knows this. He doesn't want to lose those Zealots yet, so he pulls them back, starts making cannons there in the front. Cybernetics Core is finished up. He's going for a Citadel of the Dune first, and a robotic facility afterwards, so he's most likely going for Dark Templars. Otherwise, he would switch the order around and go for robotics before the Citadel, and then followed up by his second robotics. But yeah, there's the Templates archive, so on a single robotics, cannons there in the front have finished up, Zealots are there as well. He's got Firebats, Marines, and Medics there in the mix, but I don't think he's got enough units to fight against this. And Surgeon seems to agree. Pylon there in the back, very slowly being taken down by a Marine. He's now adding on a +1 command center and an engineering bay, because he wants to get some detection and upgrades for his Marines. His Marine is finished. No range on the way. Temple Archive almost finished up. Cannons now being made around the Nexus. Well, starts with a single one. Mostly there for some cheesy barrack leftovers that he might have missed here in the top corner. But of course there's no barrack being lifted over, so he's somewhat safe in that regard. I like that Surgeon is spacing out his command center a little bit more than most players would. Most players would make that first command center here. He's making it there on the top side. He can make one here on the bottom side as well, but this is so that he can catch all the gas. Yeah, you can catch all the gas. You can make one here on the bottom side and can still catch all the gas. Otherwise, you would need 4 command centers if you made the command center here, but now you need only 3 of them. So smart little adaptation, or optimization as you might call it. Marines being placed there on the sides and in the front, just to keep information and tabs on HamburgerSasu. Got 1 turret there at his front, 1 turret there in the back, and 2 Dark Templars and 2 Zealots being flown into the base of Surgeon by HamburgerSasu. He unloads them there, just outside of vision. But he's got detected there by the machine shop. Now the Marines are coming in as well. He has a scan upgrade, but he assumed that there's only Zealots there, but now he sees that there's Dark Templars. He pulls back to the turret, doesn't want to use his scan just yet. Dark Templars having the field day, taking down some units there on the bottom side. Zealots going for the depot. Why is he not using the scan? He's got the scan energy. He could use the scan. He kills the Dark Templar. There's another Dark Templar there in the mix. Dark Templar is still alive there. Runs away outside of the vision. The vision of the scan expires. Dark Templar there on the bottom side, still alive. Looks like 2 more Dark Templars and a Reaver are flying in now as well. And Surgeon's unit count is honestly really, really low. I'm really liking this approach here from HamburgerSasu. Dark Templars there taking down the Marines. More Dark Templars being unloaded as well. The Reaver is really dangerous here. Machine Shop going down before the siege mode finishes up, which is a huge, huge setback for Surgeon. Reaver picked up, microed back. He's microing those Dark Templars extremely, extremely well. Making sure he can keep protecting the Reaver. Turret there goes down. He tries to stim in and kill stuff, but he fails. Marines going down even quicker. Dark Templar still alive. This micro is honestly amazing here from HamburgerSasu. He's got more. He's got regular Templars on the way now, so this is mostly just to kill units and distract Surgeon from the real drop that's coming in right here, right now. He inches closer to the SCVs. He gets a shot off, but it looks like the Scarab will actually kills a couple of them actually. Great hit there. Didn't expect that one. Great hit. He doesn't have Psy Storm, so instead he just starts Morph and Archon. But it looks like Surgeon already knows he lost. And Surgeon pretty much lost to a single Reaver and 4 Dark Templars. And I've never ever in my life seen it executed so well. Surgeon played it quite well, honestly. Though his Marine count was really low, but he lost a lot of units here on the bottom side to those Dark Templars. Without knowing there were Dark Templars there, he assumed it was only 2 Zealots. Then the follow-up with more Dark Templars and a Reaver was honestly an amazing mix-up. 25 kills on the Reaver, 7 and 4 kills on those 2 Dark Templars. The 3rd Dark Templar went down. Was it there in the mix? There's a Zealot there in the mix. How did that Zealot get there, though? It wasn't inside the shuttle. Or was it? Anyway, somehow the Zealot made it in there. And yeah, just a great way of protecting. Great way of using the Dark Templars to protect the Reaver. And of course, the Reaver shuttle micro sealed the deal. So HamburgerSasu makes a comeback and redeems himself from last game, because last game was extremely lackluster. And honestly, it looked like 2 different players were playing here. HamburgerSasu had a really solid tech playstyle here that I really like. I like it way more than his weird ass playstyle from last time around that made very little sense. Very little sense against a player like Surgeon. So yeah, the score is now 1-1, and it's time for game number 3. Game number 3 is going to be one of the more... it's going to be a little bit of a variation here, because we're not seeing a Protoss this time around. It's a Terran and a Zerg. And we've got HamburgerSasu on the Zerg, and he's got, honestly, one of the most exciting Zergs. Of course, you do have to add potentially one of the most exciting Zergs. Blah, I completely butchered that. One of the most exciting Zergs on fastest map. There's already a couple of matches that I've witnessed and casted by HamburgerSasu where he plays Zerg, and it's honestly just beautiful to watch, because he has the capability to pick apart even some of the best fastest map players with his Zerg, with his micro, with his optimization, with his choices, with his target selection. It's just really beautiful to watch. Specifically, his multitasking with Zerg can be off the charts. Starts off with the choke. Of course, the 9-9 drone going for the choke, makes it there in the front. And Surgeon here on the Terran on the top left corner of the map starts off with a depot for a change and a barracks. Most of the time players make, at least the Koreans do, they make 8-10 barracks and then a 9-10 depot. But Surgeon going for 8-10 depot, 9-10 barracks, and 10-18 barracks as well there. He goes for a very early gas though, so it's not going to be a 3 barrack build, it's going to be a 2 barrack build. And of course, the deciding factor for not going to not go for a 3rd barracks is the fact that both players have picked their races. Surgeon picked Terran, HamburgerSasu picked Zerg. And he might just want very early fire bats, knowing that he doesn't need 3 barracks against the Zerg. But he is forgetting to make a depot there though. But he discontinues his marine production and goes for his depot there eventually. There he goes, continues marine production once again. Not sure what it was about, maybe it was just busy chatting and BMing HamburgerSasu. HamburgerSasu starts up with a very early gas, finishes at 217 or 218. The mark he's aiming for is 220, so as long as it finishes before 220, he's hitting the mark that he wants to hit. He went for a delayed creep colony there in the front because he didn't get scouted, so he assumed he could be a little bit lax with his timing on the frontal sunken. He made 2 Zerglings there though, because he wants to scout with those 2 Zerglings and potentially protect his Overlord as well. He's going to run in those Marines, but he's going to run away from the Marines once he's run into them. He wants to keep those Zerglings alive for now and find himself a good opening to scout Surgeon's base and get himself information. So yeah, Lair is on the way. Hatchery number 2 is finishing up at 302, 303, which is right around the mark you wanted to finish. Stim upgrade there on the way. He's not yet making fire bats. He's instead making and using that gas to get himself that factory. And I assume he's going to get himself a machine shop and a siege tank as well. Siege mode upgrade, of course, as well. Stim upgrade there still on the way. Doesn't, yeah, there's the gas number 2. It's constructing it without moving. Recently I saw a video by another fastest map caster, Arkvile, not sure how you pronounce his name. And his channel is SCRamFits, where he casts European fastest map games. Quite fun. Alright, so Marines are moving out. He's got medics on the way now as well. He wants to run through that frontal portion here with the stim upgrade, but it's not gonna work because HamburgerSasu put up 4 Sunkens very close to each other there in the front. That should definitely be enough to hold it. Surgeon scouts it, but sees that, hey, I can't really go in there. I can't really attack that. So he decides to pull back to his front and defend and be passive for now. Another barrack comes down, Starcraft has finished up, siege mode is on the way, tank is on the way as well, but HamburgerSasu is going for the Mutalisks. He's got that 3 gas, mining from them all as of right now. Glad we got to catch him in the moment of sending his drones to the gas, so he can start getting his gas up to about the 700 point, maybe the 600 point. I'm not sure. Most of the time players will make 6 or 7 Mutalisks with the 2 hatchery add-on. It's basically a 3 hatch Muta build, but for fastest map and optimized for fastest map instead of low maps. There comes the tank. He's making a turret there in the back. Oh, it's a bunker. He's making a bunker there in the back as well, because I think he's expecting Mutalisks from HamburgerSasu. HamburgerSasu often goes Mutalisks, and it looks like Surgeon is aware of this fact. Turret coming down there in the base. Turret already there at his command center. 9 Mutalisks. Alright, he has just enough gas for 10 Mutalisks. I was wrong. It wasn't 7, it wasn't 8, it wasn't 6. No, it was 11. And 11 Mutalisks are gonna be very, very hard hitting. 7 of them has finished up though, so I was somewhat right. 7 on the first wave, then 2 more, then 1 more, 2 more, 1 more, 1 more. He just adds them on very slowly. He wants to go in for the Mutalisk Micro. Catches all of those Marines. Turret there in the back, hasn't dealt any damage yet. All of Marines there in the bunker. It's very smart to go in for a bunker because Mutalisks are not that great when they're microing against the bunker. Because you gotta kill the entire bunker with 350 HP and you're gonna lose some of your Mutalisks, or at least take a lot of Mutalisk damage if you micro into that bunker. He tries to go in, tries to fish for something, but he can't find himself an opening. So the tank is very well protected. Another turret coming down there as well. But HamburgerSasu is instead just going to ignore that altogether. He goes into the base of Surgeon, where he's gonna hunt down those pesky marines that are trying to defend, trying to seek cover under those turrets there. He takes down the vessel. Great moves here from HamburgerSasu. Surgeon honestly does not yet seem prepared for it. Another vessel on the way. He did finish his irradiate research, I think. Solid push here still happening. He's trying to defend it, but he doesn't have enough mulists to fight against those marines. So he's regrouping all of his mulists into one group, 11 apiece. He's got his hive on the way. He's got Hydralist Den, researching lurker aspect, so he's planning on switching up at least. Well, that's what I assume. He's planning on switching away from mulists into lurkers, or maybe a combination of both, or going for lurker swarm. Honestly, I don't know. He's got options for days. Alright, so mulists once again grouped up. Mulists moving out. He's got them balled up with a... looks like a larva. So micro happening here on the middle of the map. He loses a single mulist, but takes down about 4 of those marines. More marines there were on the way, but they're gonna be cut out. He stims them away, tries to save them. He's chasing them down. He takes 1 down, takes 2 down, takes 3 down. Come on, take 3. No, he doesn't take 3 down. Oh, radiate there. Has to split them up. Splits them up really nicely. But he did lose some HP on all those mulists because of the radiate. But the quick reaction prevents him from losing too many of them. More mulists grouping up with each other. He built a couple more Sunguns there behind his hatchery to buy himself time. He completely repelled the frontal attack there from Surgeon. He took down the tank, the marines there as well. The bunker's still alive. 4 turrets there, which should completely disallow HamburgerSasu from taking down the bunker. And yeah, lurkers are already on the way for HamburgerSasu. The Father Mountain as well is not opting for the Great Aspire because he cannot afford it, and because he needs energy, gas for the consume and the defilers. The defilers have not yet been queued up. He's mostly focusing on just getting lurkers now. 2 vessels. He used both radiates. Only 6 mulists left alive. Lurkers though finished just in time. He's got Defiler Consume on the way, but no Defilers on the way yet. Lurker is just being grouped up there in the back. He's just waiting for the Defilers and the Consume. Although he still has no Defiler on the way. He wants to clear out those vessels first, so he makes a bunch of Scorches. He's gonna try and go in on a suicide run, try to take down those vessels. Sends in some Zerglings as well. Zerglings going for a tank, but the Marines there taking down those Zerglings very quick. And now the game is looking very close. The game could be decided any moment now. The fighters are on the way. Consume is going to be finishing up within about 10 or 15 seconds. He's got Hydralist speed on the way. He might have Hydralist range already finished up. Surgeon is honestly starting to look scarily big here, adding on a lot of factories, a lot of starports as well. He's got no armory, so no Goliaths will be coming out for him, but he's mostly just making vessels, marines, and tanks. Raids there on the side hunting for overlords. And there the fighters finished up. He has the Dark Swarm, he got the Consume, and he's burrowing right up next to the tank, next to the Marines. Marines forced to pull back. Tank just inside of the range of the Lurkers. He's going to be taken down very slowly. He took down both vessels there as well. There's no detection for Surgeon to keep pushing out. Surgeon has a lot of command centers there because he wants to fill out all the gas here on the side. Overlord there in the middle, but it won't get killed. Pushed up for a second Dark Swarm, pushed up a little bit further, now taking down the pesky bunker and those turrets. Finally, Vessel going in, hunting for a Defiler, but instead he's forced to radiate on Zergling by accident, because the Scorches were hunting down the Vessel. And now Dark Swarm number 3 coming down there. A couple of those Lurkers are not under the Dark Swarm. He's moving them into the Dark Swarm now. All the Marines that Surgeon has here being caught off guard and being taken down. Surgeon is very slowly losing ground here. Though there's still a very long distance to Surgeon's base, but Surgeon has no tanks in his base. He's got a tank here. Tank here goes down. He's got a vessel, 2 vessels there as well. He's gonna try to aim for those defilers. Can he take them down before they get more swarms down? Alright, they announced a race against the clock. Can those defilers get 2 more swarms? Actually, great timing, great timing. And HamburgerSasu can once again push forward. He's already got 3 defilers almost finished up. Those raids once again going to hunt for overlords. The fight here has been won by HamburgerSasu. HamburgerSasu has made quite some distance. More lurkers are on the way. More scorches on the way as well. Vessels are gonna be taken down here. Great progression. Great forward play here from HamburgerSasu, despite the fact he's so very low in minerals. That's one of the perks of being Zerg. You don't need a lot of drones. You can honestly progress forward with Lurker Swarm and Zerglings so very well. HamburgerSasu is playing it really well. The mine almost exploded, but it got taken down by the spikes. Surgeon is setting himself up for a defense here, but he is forced to focus on so many different things at once. It's really difficult to catch up here. Because he's basically playing catch up here. Didn't make any decisions up for those factors that in the back. Quite an oversight. Defending himself here, and it looks like he calls GG because he knows he hasn't been macroing well enough to keep up with HamburgerSasu's very offensive approach. So with 1249, HamburgerSasu wins 2 games in a row, wins himself the Zerg versus Terran. Really good Zerg versus Terran here, really good Zerg versus Terran. Great Mulus micro that, although it didn't achieve much, it slowed Surgeon's push down by such an amount of time that HamburgerSasu could very comfortably progress and change into Lurker Swarm with Zerglings and progress over the map within only a matter of 2 minutes, maybe 3 minutes, and get control over the entrance of Surgeon's base. And once he has control over the entrance, he can very easily push forward with those lurkers, with those defilers and the Lurker Swarm, push in deeper and threaten all the factories that he had here. So honestly, yes, the game was completely lost for Surgeon. Floating a huge bank there, huge bank. But it's kind of a tough choice you gotta make, because in one part, you got to slow down HamburgerSasu's progression over the map. So you're forced to spend minerals and units on slowing that down by putting them on the middle. So the HamburgerSasu first has to fight through all those units on the middle. You cannot immediately retreat back to your base, because then you're just making it very easy for HamburgerSasu to set up shop here in the front with Lurker Swarm, and then you still lose the game. So that was honestly really well played from HamburgerSasu. There were more things Surgeon could have done, such as spending his minerals better than he did. But all of it came down to HamburgerSasu just showing us a very crisp and clean and smart Zerg. So yeah, that's all for today. Hope you enjoyed these games. Hope you learned something as well. If you want to say something, leave a comment in the comment section. I'm not going to ask for likes or subscribes, but if you want to like and subscribe, feel free to do so. And yeah, goodbye. Hope to see you back soon.